I don't know. I just feel like I need to talk about it because every YouTube video that I see nowadays either is going to pre-order the R5 or the a7S Mark III. But I'm not here to do that, at least just yet. So this video is going to be why you don't want the R5 or the a7S III yet.
I hear 'em chatting the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear 'em chat with the boys, man's so tough, but man's keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Al Caldejon and I'm a local filmmaker. Such a hard word to say. I'm a local filmmaker here based in San Francisco, and if you're new to my channel, which you probably are because I don't have any subscribers just yet, consider subscribing because we're gonna be dropping some value bombs out here, and don't forget to smash that like button because why not, right? Okay, just before I get canceled, even before I get relevant enough to get canceled, let me just tell you, I'm not hating on either Sony or Canon at all. Mind you, I'm not biased because I've used both systems. Both are great, Canon and Sony. And I don't have a bias since I'm not shooting on any of them. At the moment, I'm using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and the GH5, so I'm not biased at all. I just want a camera that works for me, like everybody else. Plus the extra if you're geeking. So you're probably wondering, Al, if you're just looking for a camera that's gonna work for you, shouldn't it be the R5 or the a7S III? And you're probably right. Both have amazing autofocus, both has amazing flip screen, both full frame, one has 45 megapixels, amazing specs. The R5 even shoots 8K, 4K 120, 10-bit. I mean, the list just goes on. When you just watch some of the sample footage from Potato Jet, Peter McKinnon, Matty Hapoya, Armando, I mean, they all made some really cool films with those cameras, right? But we're missing it because most of those footages or clips and videos that you've seen or will see are shot by pros or people who have been doing it for 10,000 decades. So they've all been shooting ever since they were cavemen. I mean, that's a terrible joke. Not as terrible as the cameras, but what they all have in common is that they all have a good grasp of good composition, good lighting, good storytelling. And so pair them with some crazy spec cameras. I mean, GG's, I don't know, goodbye. So if you currently own a camera but you haven't properly learned how to light, how to compose an image, you probably shouldn't invest your money in a camera, but instead invest your time, which is practically free but expensive. If you come to think of it, time is expensive, but it's free, essentially. You should probably invest your time in learning more of the fundamentals of filmmaking. There's so many resources in this very platform that you're watching this video that can help you get that cinematic, whatever that means, look that you're going for. Some of the channels that are filmmaking and photography oriented who are underrated is Danny Gevertz, Mark Bone, Matteo Bertoli, just to list some of them. Those guys that I just mentioned, they rarely talk about gear, yet they make some stunningly amazing Hollywood class films, that one of the best that I've seen. And it's not because of the gear that they're using, but they've mastered the fundamentals of filmmaking, which is lighting, composition, and stuff like that, allowing them to make those Hollywood class films. I mean, that 8K RAW is great. It's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But if you can't light, compose, or even color grade to the point that you're actually taking advantage of that raw capability, what's the point of it? Or that 4K 120, if you're gonna film everything in that mode, what good is that if it's just gonna overheat? I'm sorry, I had to throw that joke in there. But that's what I'm saying. When you properly know when the time is to shoot 120, the overheating shouldn't even be a problem because you're probably not shooting everything in 120. Though, mind you, the R5 overheats even just by turning it on for like an hour. But hopefully they fix it with some kind of firmware update. And also, one of the most important reasons why you shouldn't get the R5 or the A7 III is if you don't have the budget for it. I mean, it's self-explanatory. Why would you get it if you don't have the money for it, right? So let's say you have the budget for the R5 or the A7S III, but you can't get a lens to go with it. You probably shouldn't. I would recommend investing on a really good lens instead of a body, because you can get a really good lens with a decent body and get a really good image because of the lens. Invest on some really good lenses and lighting, audio, because the body kind of doesn't really matter. Because I mean, I'm using a $900 Blackmagic Pocket Camera 4K that I bought used with a DaVinci Resolve license. I think that the time that we're in now, we have some really good options for a fraction of the price of the R5 and the A7S III, though there's a market for them. Because I mean, trust me, you can make a really cheap camera look way expensive than it actually is, and at the same time you can make a really expensive camera like the R5 and A7S III look really cheap with some bad lighting and some bad audio and a bad lens and bad composition. Just my last video, which I'm gonna link up there, I showed you how a point and shoot camera, G7X Mark II, stacked up against the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. I mean, of course the Blackmagic was a tad bit better because of, I mean, it's a cinema camera, but it just goes to show you how a point and shoot camera can deliver you a really good image with just good lighting, good composition, and of course good audio. Probably didn't look as the Blackmagic because it was side by side, but if you didn't have anything to compare it to, you probably wouldn't notice because it was really close. Gear is important, don't get me wrong. They are tools to help you and help you scratch that itch of buying them. I mean, don't worry, I get you. But the right skill set is what's gonna set you apart from other storytellers and filmmakers, and that's something your money cannot buy. Again, my name is Al Caldejon. If you've gotten this far into the video, I want to personally thank you, and yeah, consider subscribing, because if you don't, I might call my mom and scream out crying, because I will. Trust me. I love you. Let's get better together.